There's kind of a joke in Los Angeles that you'll meet someone at a party and they will live in a small studio apartment, tiny apartment, but they will drive a $90,000 car, and they'll justify it because they'll say, hey, I spend more of my waking hours sitting in my car than in my house. So that's why people like to buy really nice cars here. There is a lot of traffic.
Car culture is a massive part of this city's identity, which just means that public transit here in LA is just not really that much of a thing.
There's a lot of homeless people.
Bus ridership is down 40% since the early 2000s.
So the problem here is kind of like the chicken or the egg. Not a lot of people are using public transit in Los Angeles, which means that the government has a hard time justifying spending billions and billions of dollars building it out and improving it when ridership is pretty low.
LA has spent more than $120 billion trying to fix its public transit system, to build trains, add stations, reduce traffic, and modernize a city that was just built for a car. But after all that money, LA still has one of the lowest transit ridership rates in the developed world. So why can't LA build public transit? Where did all that money go? And is it simply too late?
Just imagine how difficult it is when you have a city that's actually pretty developed to create new metro stations. And I'm not talking about underground. Underground is actually relatively easy. It's the overground stations. I mean, around me, I have tall office buildings, I have residential buildings, you have shops and restaurants. You have to demolish a whole block every time you need a station so that you can create the infrastructure around that. So I just did some research, and before this station, there used to be a Baskin Robbins here, a Rite Aid, some other little shops, some offices, and they've been demolished years ago. I mean, over 10 years ago, they've had to demolish those shops and restaurants to start preparing the infrastructure to make this metro station. So you can immediately see why in the 60s and 70s it would have been so much easier to build your metro station than in 2026.
Los Angeles has tried to fix this problem, and voters have even paid for it. In 2008, LA County passed Measure R. It's a sales tax meant to fund new rail lines, extend the subway, extend the bus network, and reduce congestion. 8 years later, voters doubled down with Measure M, another sales tax, but this time permanent, and creating one of the largest transportation funding plans in U.S. history. Together, these measures promised more than $120 billion for new transit through 2050. Now, on paper, it should have transformed the entire region, but the reality, almost every major project has exploded in cost or fallen behind schedule. The Purple Line extension was originally budgeted at about $2.8 billion. Now it's projected to cost over $12 billion. The regional connector opened years late after budget overruns. And the $1.6 billion improvement to the 405, one of the country's most expensive highway projects, somehow did nothing to reduce travel time. And here's the kicker. LA, like most American cities, pays 2 to 5 times more than Europe or Asia to build transit. Why? Well, over-engineering, labor rules, lawsuits, environmental review delays, utility relocation, contracting inefficiencies, and nearly constant design changes during construction. So investing in transit here isn't just expensive, it's insanely expensive.
But you can really also see their committed vision, spending billions of dollars along Wilshire. The first thing I thought of when I saw this station was like, wow, that's actually really cool. If I can just hop on a train and get from the middle of LA to Santa Monica in way less time, that's really cool. That's a great value proposition.
And that's the LA Transit story in one sentence. The government spending billions to create a value for you and me, yet we aren't riding.
Santa Monica 3rd Street used to be one of the busiest shopping streets in California. But the traffic to get here got worse, parking got more expensive, and naturally people stopped coming. And now you see a lot of places, a crazy amount of restaurants and shops that say for rent, for lease.
Even with a brand new metro station nearby, most people still don't use it.
Even after a metro station opened here, LA's transit system just isn't convenient enough to make it worth it for most people to come here.
When it becomes too difficult or too slow to reach a neighborhood, people stop going there, and ultimately businesses suffer.
So naturally, when there's a lot of friction to get to a place, well, neighborhoods are going to lose foot traffic, and obviously low foot traffic is bad for business. But why did Los Angeles not build a great rail network like other major cities in this country?
So there's a famous theory that it was actually car companies that kind of killed public transit in Los Angeles. See, back in the 1930s to 1950s, General Motors, Firestone, Standard Oil, and a few others created a company called National City Lines. Their strategy was to buy up streetcar systems across the country, including in LA, and replace them with GM buses. In 1949, GM was actually convicted in federal court for conspiring to monopolize the transit industry. The punishment? A $5,000 fine, basically nothing.
They wanted to push America toward cars and freeways against public transit. And it worked.
But here's the important nuance. LA wasn't really a thriving transit city that was suddenly sabotaged by these companies. The region was already building freeways, spreading outward into suburbs, and designing daily life around the car. So these companies didn't create the trend per se, but they did accelerate it.
The first thing the announcer says is, "We're in this ride together, please don't play loud music." So I wonder how often that happens. This thing is moving pretty slowly. It's not like an underground train where it doesn't have to worry about anything. Even though we get the right of way, cars have to stop for us, it's still like an issue where a conductor is having to kind of navigate the tracks and make sure that, that there's no cars on the tracks and things like that. Versus when you're going underground, things are a lot faster. So definitely I can see how taking this train is faster than taking a bus, because buses make a lot more stops and buses have to stop at a red light. But if I'm a choice rider, like most people living here who have the choice between driving or taking the public transit, I'm still gonna choose a car because a car is just way more convenient. So naturally it sounds like, okay, well, why wouldn't way more people just take the metro? But again, it all depends on where you're coming from and where you're going. The odds that you're coming from a walking distance area within Santa Monica and that you're gonna be walking distance to when you get out of the station in downtown Los Angeles, the odds are very low. Let's be realistic, right? It's not like there's a vast network of train stations everywhere. And I think that is the major problem about getting people to use public transportation in this city.
So what LA has today is kind of a patchwork, a few strong lines, but nothing close to a full network. And that becomes obvious when you talk to the people who actually use it.
Do you like taking the LA Metro?
It's not bad. It's just that standing up hurts my feet a little too much.
Because of the traffic, the 10 freeway, because I live by Carson area, Torrance, yeah, so the traffic is like tremendous. I get there like 2-3 hours in the afternoon if I drive.
Because gas prices are increasing.
Probably the safety, the Compton station, it improved a lot.
Do you think the LA Metro system is going to get better in the next few years, or is it getting worse?
If the whole homeless situation gets better, then yeah.
For some riders, Metro is a lifeline, a cheaper, faster alternative to LA's notorious traffic. But for most people here, it's not close enough, not frequent enough, or safe enough to replace their car.
So this is my card, so you need to get a physical card. You can get it for as cheap as $175. The fare rate is very cheap though. I mean, $5 for unlimited or $18 for a 7-day unlimited. That's great. You don't see that in big cities. A single ride only costs you $1.75, way cheaper than New York City, which is $3.25. But obviously you have much more limited places to go here in LA. It's funny because I was just thinking, if they want to increase ridership, why not just make it free for 6 months or 1 year? That would certainly increase ridership. But I just interviewed someone and she was actually saying when they don't enforce the turnstiles, a lot of people just jump the gate and come on and they end up sleeping, and you end up getting a lot of homeless people.
Metro fares are cheap, some of the cheapest in the country, but price isn't really the problem here. Coverage is, reliability is, safety is, convenience is, and that brings me to the bigger question here.
If you're to take the train from Santa Monica to downtown Los Angeles, it would just cost you $1.75 and it would take 50 minutes. If you were to drive that, well, it depends on traffic. During traffic, that could easily take you an hour and a half.
On paper, the Metro works, but in reality, people still choose cars. And that's partly because cars got better while transit just didn't. See, over the last 2 decades, LA has added more freeways. Cars became faster, quieter, cleaner, safer. Uber and Lyft have exploded. Remote work has reduced required community. And even electric vehicles lowered fuel costs. Meanwhile, transit expanded slowly and also got more expensive. So even with $120 billion in transit funding, LA will probably never see European level ridership. But the question is, can LA get from 5% transit riders to 20% to 30%, or is the city simply too spread out and too committed to cars for that to ever happen?
Let me know what you think below, and while you're at it, make sure you subscribe to my channel so you don't miss more videos like this. I'll see you next time.